We're going to bring in Nan Hayworth and Jason Altmaier joining us now. Now, Nan is a member of the Independent Women's Forum Board of Directors, and Jason is a former Democrat congressman. Nice to see you both this morning.
Good morning.
Thank
Great
you.
to be with you.
All right. So, Jason, I want to start with you. You just heard from Griff that the Wall Street Journal is reporting that the president, at least privately, may have agreed to put off this fight until after the midterms. So what is with all this back and forth? What's his strategy here?
I hope it's just a negotiating tactic by the president. It would be politically disastrous for the Republicans and for the president to force a government shutdown, especially in the Homeland Security Appropriations Bill, where there's so many very important programs for the country. But more importantly, it just would be bad for the country to have another government shutdown. It costs money. It disrupts lives. It would create insecurity on the Homeland side. So the president hopefully is using this as a negotiating tactic. I think he may have come to his senses over the weekend. But if he forces a government shutdown, that never seems to work out well for the Republicans.
All right. Well, Nan, we just heard from Jason, a Democrat, that this is not good for the country to end up forcing a shutdown. Some Republicans have been outspoken about this. I want to take a listen to what Senator Bob Corker had to say, and then I'll get your response.
Non-needed shutdown of government is something that could certainly affect the electoral process in November. Doesn't seem particularly smart.
So, Nan, you say that it's the president's prerogative to fulfill his campaign promise of additional border security, but what about the political optics of this?
Right. The president's in a challenging spot, and not one, in fairness to him, of his own making. The American electorate is somewhat divided about this, even though obviously he was elected pledging to improve border security. And in fact, the pillars of his pledges, border security, DACA security, DACA assurance, and chain migration, and the visa lottery or modified chain migration, are all broadly supported with pluralities and majorities among Democrats, independents, Clinton voters, etc. But the problem is that among Republicans, we don't really have a governing majority in the Senate. You need 60 votes for that as long as the filibuster exists. And among Republicans in the House, I know because I was there, there's a group of about 24 swing district Republicans who can't vote for any measures that don't include a path for security to DACA recipients, including a path to citizenship, quite possibly, while there's about 30 members of the Freedom Caucus who won't vote for anything that seems like amnesty. So getting real progress on these matters is going to be challenging. I like the fact that the president is indicating that he in fact, is open to deferring a battle until after the midterms, because it looks bad for the Republicans if they're the ones blamed with shutting down the government.
Yeah, and Republicans have tried, to get legislation passed on immigration. But, Jason, one of the questions that I have for you is that, some people think that having a fight over a government shutdown and over immigration might actually energize Republicans to get to the polls. Is that a strategy that you think could work?
The problem with that is it would also disrupt the confirmation of Judge Kavanaugh, and that's something that would also energize the Republicans. And if they feel discouraged on that front, that might actually neutralize the effect. But there's a lot of districts in the country that are competitive this year that the Democrats have an upper hand against Republican incumbents. And most of those districts are districts where this immigration issue is not going to be the deciding factor. So to add the uncertainty of a government shutdown in addition to the disruption it would cause for the American people and their government, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, Nan, I want to go quickly to you on what Jason just mentioned about the confirmation of Judge Kavanaugh. Some are saying that a delay or that a shutdown could basically delay that confirmation into October, November. What would you see as the long-term impact?
Absolutely. And, the Republicans have a great opportunity to bring Judge Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. That would be a win for the Republicans. They'd look great. The Republicans who support President Trump, in part because they want to see the Supreme Court really have a constitutional basis, will appreciate that. So I think they should move ahead with that. And yes, some Republicans could use that as a maneuvering point behind the scenes to pressure no government shutdown. Let's get this Kavanaugh nomination taken care of and then go to border security in a really tough way.
All right. Well, great insight from both of you this morning. Nan and Jason, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.